And we are live here at the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation's annual legislative conference. I'm Adia Jordan, your executive producer, here with Miss Randi Weingarten.
Hey, Adia.
Pleasure to have
be with you.
Pleasure to have you. So we are here talking to authors, community leaders about their latest book and the work that they're doing. I know that you, with American Federation of Teachers, has been doing a lot of work to just gear us into what's going to be the next generation of school teachers, students, and also understanding what we need to do to fight the administration at hand. So tell me a little bit about your book and the title.
So let me first say what we try to do. It's so cool to be here, and it's so cool to be with you, and it's so cool to be at this Arthur's Literacy Circle.
Yes.
I called it literacy instead of literary.
It's okay.
I'm thinking reading. But literary circle. But it's because I've been a school teacher. I'm an activist.
Yes.
I'm a union president.
Listen.
I was never an author, and I never see myself as a writer, and certainly not as an academic. So doing this book, spending a year doing this in this moment in time, to be with you, to be here, to be able to present it is really, I'm so grateful. So thank you.
No problem.
So,
I mean, your book is definitely timely, right? Even in the last, if you've had this book on the shelf, for a short period of time, just knowing how the transition with the recent administration and how people are a little bit worried, not even a little bit worried, very concerned about what's happening to education. Right. So tell me a little bit about why not necessarily the time frame of the book, but why now for you in this moment.
So I wrote the book. So I basically have written the book over the last year, and I did a lot of writing during the 2024 election cycle.
Listen.
And I was in a bus a lot of that time.
Okay.
Trying to get a particular candidate elected, and we were not successful.
Understood.
And so, but what I came up with the title at that time for the following reason. One, the book is both a warning. That's why the title is Why Fascists Fear Teachers. It's a warning.
It's a warning. Okay.
Hopefully we never get there. But it's a warning.
Correct.
And the second reason I wrote the book was who's the antidote? Who's the hope? So you can't just warn people about harm. If you're a school teacher, you're teaching and thinking all the time about what you do.
Indeed.
How you problem solve. And teachers are the antidote to, in many ways, what ails America.
Correct.
And I wanted to spend a lot of time talking about that. So those are the two reasons why I wrote it, as a warning, and then to also talk about the antidote being teachers. Now, why did I feel like there needed to be a warning? At the tail end of the last election, when the word fascism was used a lot, frankly, virtually no one in America knows what it means. And I say this as a social studies teacher.
Right.
I say this as a civics teacher. Now, there's a lot of reasons. We teach a lot in K through 12 about the history of our nation.
Correct.
And fascism and fascistic governments that have happened in the past have been other nations, like Nazi Germany, like Mussolini's Italy, like, frankly, Putin in Russia. And so there's a reason why people don't know about. We don't teach comparative governments.
Correct.
We don't teach about Viktor Orban in Hungary.
We hear about the democracy piece.
Exactly. So part of this was not to label anybody a fascist. I find that highly non-constructive, because then the whole conversation is he or isn't he?
Correct. And that's not the core of what you want to really explore.
And if you want it to be a warning so that it never happens, you explain to people what fascistic behavior is.
Right.
And what it is it's a love of a historical past that may never have included people. And frankly, then the people that never included become the them in terms of the us versus them.
Right.
And then the fascistic government not only demonizes, but dehumanizes the other in a way that you no longer think about the other as real people.
Correct. And I think that has been something that we've seen probably in the last 3 years. I mean, unfortunately, during COVID-19, that changed the way that people looked at education, looked at the way that teachers were in the classroom and now had to switch over to virtual, people were parading them and saluting them because parents got a chance to really see what it was like on
Exactly
on an everyday scale for teachers. You
And
know,
then-
this is your child. You only see them for a certain period of time, but you don't really know what your child is going through and what teachers are going through on an everyday scale.
And then
Now
what
it
happened?
has changed.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. Because then what happened was teachers were surprised that they were so revered at that moment.
Yes.
But then what you then started seeing is, oh, teachers are to blame. No, it was COVID.
Correct.
And if we actually did what Europe did, which is to make ventilation and testing the priority, so making schools the priority, not bars, not
Right.
restaurants, we would have done what Europe did,
Correct.
which is open schools earlier in more places.
Right.
But the other point, which in some ways the COVID example and so many other examples get to, is that teachers every day try to do the best they can with kids.
With what they
regardless-
have.
With what they have.
Yes.
Regardless of what they have.
Correct.
And so even take what just happened in the last 2 weeks with that horrible assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, he was not a big fan of mine. I was not a big fan of his.
Okay.
But the bottom line is political violence should be condemned by everyone.
Correct.
And we must de-escalate and we must actually fight against all political violence.
Correct.
Having said that, think about what happened in the next few days. Everybody, because there's no constraints on social media, everybody saw that horrible assassination.
Correct.
I call it assassination because it was.
Because it was.
Everybody saw it. Kids saw it. Young people saw it. The algorithms enabled everybody to see it. We have no guardrails. Twitter has no guardrails anymore, or whatever it's called, X. Facebook has no guardrails anymore. So everybody saw it. So think about what teachers had to do. Parents had to do that night. Teachers had to do the next day.
Right. Explain.
A lot of trauma. A
And
lot of explaining.
A lot of explaining.
And did our superintendents or the president of the United States help us figure out how to explain it?
No.
And in fact, 2 superintendents went out and said, snitch on your colleagues if they said something wrong.
Which is not helping us at any
Exactly,
point.
which
It's
is-
not, because it's creating even more of a divide. for
Exactly.
people.
And what did most teachers do? They figured out what to do with the
Right.
foundation.
Right.
And that's what teachers do.
They do. They
And I
figure it
wanted
out.
to lift them up.
Yes. So I wanted to kind of get into into your book because, I'm imagining really that your role in being the voice for teachers has always had some controversy attached to, right? So how do you navigate that with this book now? Like, how do you do that balance between speaking for all teachers, but then also having your own voice?
That's a really good question. Number one, I think you actually have to believe in your cause.
Right.
And your cause is more important than you as a person.
Correct.
And when you do that, when you believe in your cause and your cause is more important than your own individual ambition or your own individual views, then it becomes it's not hard.
Right.
And I really, really, really believe in several things. Number one, teachers, nurses, the people I represent make a difference in the lives of other people. Number two, making that difference in the lives of other people is the most valuable work that we can do.
Indeed.
And so I have to be a servant to that cause.
Indeed.
And so I feel really lucky that I've been able to use my professional life to actually try to help teachers teach kids, help nurse people to health, and help them as a unit, as a community, have the best conditions that we can fight for,
Right.
so that they can have a better life for themselves. So for me, over the course of time, and now I'm pretty much, I'm 67, almost 68 years old,
you look
so
wonderful.
I'm like on the back nine.
You look wonderful.
Thank you. So for me, it actually feels like the most joy to give back to others.
Correct.
So that's why. So I don't see them as separate anymore.
Okay.
I see them as very much, this is what I do on behalf of others, and I'm really, really lucky to be able to do that.
And I love the fact that you talk about just servant leadership, right? That's really important. And this year's theme is made for this moment,
Yeah.
right? I feel like your book is made for this moment.
Thank
It's
you.
one of those things where we really have to sit down and identify or re-identify our core values
Exactly right.
and understanding our purpose in this life, right?
Exactly.
Because there's enough distraction that's going to tell you something different, like you don't belong or your views are not being heard. I want to understand from you, like from a personal, professional sentence, why do you feel like this moment is so crucial for teachers? Not just because, and I know you're going to talk about it in the book, but I want to just get an understanding of how do you feel that way.
So, because no one on a national level, very few people support or defend teachers.
Okay.
They, when you on a local level,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you hear parents all the time talking about the importance of their kids' teachers.
Right.
On a local level, you hear stories about, and you see it in Poland,
Mm-hmm.
how people love their local teachers or local school, but the closer you get to Washington, not so much.
That's not so much, yes.
So it's very personal for people.
Okay.
But what happens on a national level, particularly since one particular party doesn't want to spend the money that it needs
Mm-hmm.
to educate
Every child,
to their God-given potential.
because every
Child
every child,
to their God-given potential.
yes, because people seem to forget. My parents have been in education, whether they're mentors or working with children or social workers in that sense, that education is the root of every single profession.
Exactly.
And so if you exclude or you decide that this is not what you really want to focus on, everybody suffers. Every single person suffers.
And so what we've seen, frankly, since the civil rights laws were changed, frankly, from Brown versus Board of Education,
Mhm.
which interpreted the Constitution to require that every child was entitled
Indeed.
to a decent education.
Correct.
From that point on, it became an us versus them. Now, the fight before
Right.
was a fight for equality.
Correct.
And it became, and I talk in the book a lot about Lyndon Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
not as president, but as a teacher in the Hill Country in Texas, because that is where he understood that leveling the playing field was an essential American value.
Got it.
So that if you level the playing field for all kids, so that all kids can compete,
Mm-hmm.
then what happens is you have American innovation. If you do not, then you're basically etching poverty and inequality in
Mhm.
place. And so what teachers do is, regardless of whether they get the funding or not, regardless of whether they get smaller class sizes or not, regardless of whether kids have good facilities or not, regardless of whether they get paid appropriately or not, they're every single day figuring out how to help their kids succeed.
Right.
That's what I love about teachers. And most other, I represent a lot of other people, and a lot of people I represent make a difference in the lives of others. They are amazing. They are valiant. They are my heroes. So the difference in terms of teachers is that they never walk away from their kids.
They don't.
They have to figure it out.
They do.
Regardless of what's thrown at them. And I wanted to capture that,
Mm-hmm.
and capture that sentiment, and capture that psyche, and capture who they are
Right.
in this world.
Look, I know that my sister-in-law is a teacher in New York City, and she always talks about the fact that people don't understand the
Say
labor
hello
of
for me.
love. I will. Hi, Katie. She says all the time that people don't understand the labor of love that it requires to be a teacher. I wanted to just kind of ask you, what was your favorite part in the book? Like, was there something that while you were writing, or something came up that you were like, oh, I have to put it in here? And it might be a quote from somebody, but was there something that was like
yes,
such eye-catching for you?
Okay, this is my favorite part of the book,
Okay.
and it is near the end. And it is, I gotta find the page. It's really near the end.
Okay.
And it is, I use a picture that I have in my office. This was a photograph. Actually, it was just a graphic that a teacher gave me when I was the president of the UFT, New
Okay.
York City.
Mm-hmm.
And he was an art teacher. And he gave me a framed picture that said, I inspire, I encourage, I empower, I nurture, I activate, I motivate, I change the world, I am a teacher. And I have kept that
Wow.
picture in every
Was that
office.
20 years now?
I have kept that picture of him. I think I got it in 2000.
Okay.
I think he gave it to me in 2000. I have kept that picture with me in every office I've been in.
Wow.
And when I go to my office in Washington, it's right in my sightline. When I was in my office in UFT, it was right in my sightline.
Yes, it's a
Because
constant reminder.
That is who teachers are.
Yes. So I want to let the audience back home, know where can they find your book, and if they want to get in contact with you, how do they do that? Are you on social media?
I am.
What does that look like?
I am on many. I am not on TikTok.
Okay, understood.
But I am on Instagram. I'm
Okay.
on Facebook. I'm on Blue Sky.
Oh, okay.
I'm still on Twitter, although I try not to do very much of it.
Okay.
And I am on Threads, but where I really speak is on Blue Sky.
Okay.
And that's our Weingarten.
Got it.
AFT.org is our union's website. You can find almost anything there.
Mhm.
There's an AFT Prez at AFT.org where you can write me and tell me everything you think or want me to do or
Okay.
whatever. And we do this. Our members have, so it's AFT Prez, PRES at
Okay.
AFT.org.
Okay.
And you can get the book. Because this book is done by Random House, I have to give the Random House way,
Thank you, Random
the
House.
thesis way of saying it, which is in your favorite bookstore or in your favorite way of buying a book.
Okay.
So, and what I've been doing, frankly, is I've been doing some small events in independent bookstores.
Okay,
as
nice.
a way of actually propping up those small businesses.
Yes.
Because we all as community have to help each other. So your favorite independent bookstore, the favorite way that you buy books, but most importantly, read. Some libraries are starting to carry it.
Yes.
But most importantly, read.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so
You
much.
are indeed made for this moment.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to have you on the Impact Podcast studio.
Thank you.
Enjoy.